In this chapter, we'll be discussing how strings work in JavaScript. We will clarify some things about them and see what kind of methods we have available when working with strings in JavaScript. But to start off, we're going to look at some very basic things about strings in JavaScript. So, up till now, you're probably very familiar with them by now anyway, because I use them quite a lot. So, a string looks like this. Actually, no, I shouldn't be writing like that. The variable should be called speech. Speech equals hello. So this is basically a string. And here we can see that at least in my Sublime text, strings are denoted in color with the color yellow. So we have two ways of writing strings. I think I've said this before. But it's never bad. It's not a bad idea to recap. So these are basically the same because they're both the same color. However, in this section, I wanted to find some differences between these types of notations of strings. So I'm going to get into that. Here, as they are separate entities, there is no difference. However, if we want to display quotes inside a string, we're going to have to decide on whether to use one or the other. So if I want to use quotes, these single quotes in the string, I'd have to use the double quotes on the outside for the whole string and the string as a whole, excuse me. So I'm going to say he said, and then you have the single quotes. And we're going to display that on the screen. So speech. So let me get that open. JS course. Open that up. And we're going to press F12. And it says he said hello. And the quotes are given. So what would happen if I tried to use the double quotes inside? Well, you're going to see right now that, in Sublime Text, you can see it's not going to work because this is now colored as it would be in a normal interpretation of code. This operator is turned pink, and the text is now white again, just like a variable name or something. So you can't use two of the same kinds of quotes of a string inside itself. So you'll have to alternate in between them. Oh, and another thing, strings are like any other value, any other type of data, like I said way back in the second chapter, so you can pass things on directly to this, and you'll have the same effect as if you pass in a variable. However, we often like to store things to variables, like I've said before, so I'll stick with that. So a thing I'd like to talk about now is what if we want to have the double quotes now? So I would have to do this, right? I would have to have the single quotes on the outside. Yeah? So let's see that work out. So my mouse is kind of dying, so I'm going to have to get new batteries soon. Hold on. Hello. And you'll get the same effect. Just this time we have double quotes, as you can see here. But what if I want to use single quotes, have single quotes within single quotes, or double quotes within double quotes? Well, for that we have the following. Well, we're going to have these things called escape characters. So what escape characters are basically is you're escaping the original functionality of a character within a string because otherwise it might have some different functionality. So let's see something with that. Let's have a string with a question. He asked, we're going to have in double quotes now, did you eat all of the chocolate? So as you can see here, this doesn't look right. I want to make these, I want double quotes. Let's say my format in a program asks for quotes of dialogue to be in double quotes. Well, to do that, I'm going to do the following. I am going to do something like this. An escape character is written with this slash. Is it backslash? Yeah, backslash. Backslash will now denote these quotes inside the string. We escape the original functionality of these two quotes that would otherwise open and close new strings. And you can see here in my Sublime Text, the escape characters are denoted in different colors. And now the dialogue I want to have printed out inside the string is now back to yellow as I wanted it to be, as it should be. So here are the escape characters denoted in purple, and the rest of the string should work out just fine. And now I can have double quotes inside double quotes. So, and the same thing would go for single quotes. Whoops, it automatically makes a new string. Hold on. And we're going to see this right now. Oops. Sublime Text automatically gives you double quotes. And there you go. So you get the same thing. So you get the same thing just with single quotes. And that works out. So we also have a bunch of other escape characters as well. We have, first, let's actually make some new examples now. So we have backslash. Backslash. And this is often used when referencing paths to files in your system, or just in general in your like sort of on your project in your web application, or you just want to have something displayed with the backslash. So let's see that. It's gonna be, for example, like if you want us to have a directory C // this isn't two slashes. This is just going to be one, because the first one acts as an escape character, and the other one acts as an actual character. And we have, like, I don't know, users / Tom / documents, and you get the idea //. So this would be like accessing the backslash character, because normally the backslash character acts as an escape character. The escape character means that you're just type slash. It's sometimes called the escape character by itself, meaning it allows you to have character escapes. And there you go. You get only one single slash instead of two. So we have a couple more as well. We have a horizontal tab, which basically is like sort of three spaces, like typing like this, having a tab in a string. So let's see that. Var h tab equals. So let's say this is a tab test. So we're going to put the backslash T. You might have seen this before. Backslash T. That means one tab, like as if you press the tab. And use the, let me put that in here. And you get tab. And let's try testing without this. Let's try literally typing out tab. And you get a similar effect. But just so you know, these are blank spaces. And the tab is considered the escape character in your code, whereas in the web browser, it's considered actual tabs. And in both cases, when we just press tab, they're considered clicking tab itself. So maybe in some systems, tab isn't accepted, so you might want to use, like, having empty spaces and not accepted, so you might want to use the tab character. But it's all up to you. Using tab is often sometimes good for alignment in tables, but it's all up to you, really. And another thing we have is vertical tab. So what this does is going to output a vertical tab between the characters. So let's see what that looks like. It might not work in the console, but let me just test it just for safe measure, you know. So we have this is a v-tab test. And this escape character looks like this. It's /v and /v. So let's see if that works. And here you just, oh, I didn't do the v tab. And here it doesn't work at least in my Firefox, because here this is unidentified character. In some systems it works, but basically in mine it doesn't. It might work in yours, it might not, but generally, yeah. So these are basically all the escape characters you'll see most often in typing strings. So, and another thing about strings, depending on your browser, you often have a sort of predefined sort of character range you're gonna have for some, like in your HTML file. You might have like sort of UTF-8, Unicode, and there are various kinds of others. Often in your web projects or any other web projects and web applications and all kinds of applications, you'll have something predefined, and JavaScript will automatically use that. And there are also built-in, JavaScript has built-in sort of scripting settings that have characters predefined, which characters can be displayed. Like here, it doesn't have the vertical tab, it's empty. So that doesn't exist in my version of JavaScript, in my browser actually. Everything for JavaScript is provided by the browser itself, like I said before in the beginning of this tutorial series, where I said the browser provides all the processing power, all the resources needed for JavaScript, and that includes the settings for characters and so on. Just in the index HTML file, you'll have that defined. Now, I won't be explaining that, but oftentimes you'll have something automatically defined, but you could research more into that on your own time. So I think with that, I will stop here for now, and then in the next tutorial we'll go into a little more deeper details of what strings are essentially.